Now, if you've seen the news in the recent, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months, we know that you should never buy Huawei if you're living in the UK, US, anywhere in Europe. Doesn't really matter. Now, that being said, does that mean Huawei phones are terrible? Or should we give them a chance? Well, what can we do? Well, if you want to buy something cheap, you may as well buy a OnePlus. If you want to buy something expensive, go Samsung. If you want to buy something in the middle of nowhere, just buy an Oppo. If you just need something that works, just get an Apple. There we are. So I could just end the video there. But no, we're not doing that. We're going the extra step. But if you are looking to buy Huawei, which one should you buy? Well, I've got one right here. Let's find out. Now this isn't the latest Huawei Mate 40 Pro. It's actually the Mate 20X 5G. I think this is one of the best buys you can ever get. And right now they're at a steal around £300-400. Let's see what it's all about. Right from the start we can see the box is very, very premium. We have these shiny logos and the writing all across. It has a very nice texture to it, almost like a rigid feeling, a ridge in a way. Nothing much going around 5G here. Yes, it is a 5G enabled phone, and we got some information down here. Right, let's look inside. Okay, straight away we see the phone. Okay, first thing you're going to notice is it is huge. I mean huge to a new level. Around the back we have a very nice carbon fiber looking finish. It is very smooth and it will attract fingerprints, but it's got a 5G logo, fingerprint sensor, 3 cameras, an LED flash, and that's about it at the back. Up top, what we don't see every day is finally here. I do miss this. I think the S6 Edge was the last phone I used that had an IR blaster, and I'm happy to see it back. Got a microphone, got the volume up and down, power button, which is in a red accent. Loving that. Around the back we have a Type-C charger. I'll get back to that. And a speaker and a couple of microphones while we're at it there. And that's about it. Oh, and this side we have the SIM tray. Okay, up front we have a 7.2 inch Full HD Plus screen. And we have a front-facing selfie camera. Okay, leaving the phone to a side, I do want to point out that this is a second-hand phone. I bought it for just £300. Okay, after this cover we have a SIM ejection tool and a couple of books and stuff that we don't really need to look at. Right, here is something amazing. This is a 40 watt fast charger. Well, they actually call it supercharging, but you know, same thing, right? Okay, again, we'll leave this to the side. We have a Type A to Type C cable. Very nice. And we have a somewhat, I don't know what brand this is, probably their own brand, but a Type-C headphone. Earphones. A Type-C earphones. Right, well, now that we can get all of this out of the way, through the specs we see that it's got a 7.2 inch 2244 by 1080p display, and it is an OLED HDR10 display, so it's very bright, very beautiful, and being OLED, the blacks are very, very dark. It's got a 14 megapixel rear shooter, it's got 8 gigs of RAM, the Kirin 980 chip, and 4200 mAh of battery capacity. 2 cores running at 2.6 GHz, while the other 2 are running at 1.92 GHz, and the other 4 of them running at 1.8 to save battery. It's got a base memory of 256 gigs and it is expandable, but it's with a nano memory. It isn't the latest UFS 3.0 storage, but it is plenty fast at UFS 2.1. Now, around the back we have the 40 megapixel main shooter, which has laser autofocus, an 8 megapixel telephoto of 3 times optical zoom, 20 megapixel ultra-wide. Now, it can record 4K at 30 frames per second, 1080 at 60. The selfie camera itself is 24 megapixels, and it can record video 1080p at 30 frames per second. It's got the latest and greatest Wi-Fi of Wi-Fi AC, Bluetooth 5.0, NFC, and it's got a 40-watt fast charging, along with 5G technology. From using this day to day, what I've realized is how big the screen is. Now, I've used big screens before. 6.7, the S10 5G, 6.5, even 6.9. I have tried out the S20 Ultra, but nothing gets close to the 7.2 that this screen actually is. Now, if you're thinking, oh, I used to have a 7-inch tablet back in the day, it's not as wide as that. It is quite tall, it's not as wide. But when you're streaming anything that has vertical content, such as scrolling through Facebook, you really do feel the extra real estate. And when you're watching videos that are 2x1, like Marcus Brownlee, that are especially 2x1 MKBHD videos in particular, it really does fill up the screen and you do see the notch disappearing. That's all great, but how good is that notch? Now, the selfies that it takes aren't great, but they're okay. I'd give them a solid B. The rear cameras, they do make up some ground. I'd give them an A- from what I know. They're very nice, they're sharp, they're detailed, they're 40 megapixels, so it isn't the 108 that we see on the new flagships, but it's good enough to hold its own against any. But I don't think that's why people are buying this phone, to compare them to new flagships, because if we were, this is going to get trumped in every way. This is a year old and it's not the best right now. But everything I've thrown at it, it's managed to do well. I've tried to play COD at high settings, it's fine. Max settings, it's fine. I've tried Modern Combat 5, it's fine. Answering phone calls, fine. Everything is it just works. And, hang on, Google Maps. Didn't Huawei and Google have a fight? Aren't they over? Yes, but this phone came out before they had issues. So everything works. Every single Google app works. Play Store works. Google Maps, I use it quite a lot during the day. Works. Every single thing about it works. And that's why I think if you're going to get a Huawei, you may as well get something a little bit older. You save a bit of money and you're getting quite a lot in terms of price to performance. Now, this is the end of this short video. It's not really a review of this, but if you want one, do let me know. I'll see if I can put that together. So it comes down to the ultimate question: should you buy a Huawei? Well, yes and no. If you're willing to go through a little bit of tinkering to get the newer Huawei to do everything right, sure, go for it. If you want to get a Huawei that just works, but you don't mind it being a year old and possibly saving you half as much money, you may as well buy something older. If you just want to have a phone that works, I'd suggest looking at the competition: Oppo, OnePlus, even Samsung. And if you just want to use an iPhone, then use an iPhone. Right, that's about it. That's where I'm going to end the video. I'll see you guys in the next one, hopefully. Like, comment, subscribe. Tech for you, signing out.